Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this morning's AM Power. I'm so grateful and excited to be here with you today. Happy Friday. Last time we connected on AM Power, we talked about the word optimization, and I had explained, if you guys were on part one of optimization, I had explained as humans, it's important that we seek to reach our fullest potential. And when you're seeking to reach your fullest potential, that means that you've got different areas of your life and you need to optimize. And that was the word that I assigned this year, optimize. I just love that word. I'm like, wow, I realize there's so many areas in my life that I could optimize. So I'm like, wow, I can optimize this area and this area and this area. And then I became fascinated with the idea of just going to each area, taking in an analysis of where I was currently at with that and optimizing that. Because I think that if you can swap the pressure of the human experience, a lot of the times we get caught up in perfection, or we get caught up in, the eyes that are looking at us, and what other people might be judging us for, and this pressure of comparison and all these reasons that we need to be better, and just swapping all of those other reasons with the general curiosity of what am I capable of? What am I truly capable of? And just pursuing life from curiosity, because I feel like if we came here and we're embodying the human human body and we're living this current reality, then we should be curious of what we're capable of, right? So swapping it for curiosity. So, and tapping into optimization. So if you were on our first call, we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about digital distractions. We talked about like social media, TV. We talked about limiting beliefs and how we create these narratives and stories about ourselves that create limiting beliefs that hold us back from our potential. We talked about other people's opinions and how other people's narratives about us will affect how we show up in the world and will limit our potential. We talked about lack of systems, about how busy life gets. And if you are not systematic about your life and you don't have a flow with how you navigate things, then you might not be optimizing your time and potential. And we talked about unprocessed emotions and how certain experiences, when you do not release those experiences, process the experience. And we talked about tap.
Yes, I do think she froze. There
I
she.
think I
Okay.
think my Wi-Fi is funny today. I don't know why, but my computer keeps telling me that my Wi-Fi is unstable. Can you guys hear me again? Am I back? Okay, great. Wonderful. So, yay, I'm back. Okay. So, today I want to I want to continue that flow. And so the next thing that can be very distracting is the state that you're in. Okay. So your state is a blend of different things, okay? And there's a formula that's been taught, and it's been that your state equals your physiology, your focus, and your language, okay? So how many people here will sometimes walk with their posture kind of and kind of slumped over? I remember when if you guys have heard about my story about how I came into first wedding planning. It was my first serious job. Before that, I had done a lot of like restaurant jobs and bartending jobs and a lot of cafes and stuff like that. And then I finally became a wedding planner. Well, before I was a wedding planner, I started working at a wedding venue. But the woman that was training me, my first mentor, she was the most incredible woman I've ever met. She's beautiful and elegant and smart, and she's amazing. She was my best friend. She was my second mom. She was my mentor. She was my boss. She was everything to me. And so she had first taught me how to change my physiology. And I remember I'd be walking into a room to go do sales, and she would tell me that I needed to pull back my shoulders and like pick up my posture. And she first taught me about that. She's like, Brooke, if you want to take yourself seriously and you want to have confidence and you want people to take you seriously, how you stand and how you hold your posture matters. And I was like, wow, okay. And so she taught me that. And so, here's this 20-year-old girl at the time. I drank a lot and I partied my ass off most of my life. And I was like, okay, I have to change how I stand. I can do this. And so that was the first thing that I had changed. I had straightened posture. Deepening your breath. So that's another thing. A lot of times, do you guys ever hold your breath? That's something that I'll do. I'll just notice myself like tightening and holding my breath. And so I've gotten very aware of like pulling my shoulders back, straightening my breath, lifting my head, and adjusting my physiology. Okay. Next is how you speak to yourself. Okay. Because the state that you're in is going to impact everything that is happening in that current moment, how you're responding or reacting to somebody, what choices you're deciding to make in that moment. Oh, should I go do this thing that's great for me? Should I go to the gym, or should I eat healthy, or should I tend to my business, or am I just going to sit here and slump on the couch, right? So your state is extremely important. So your language, how you speak to yourself, and you guys will get really good at this when you start changing how you speak to yourself, because it's on autopilot. I can't tell you how many people that I hear like, oh, that was so stupid of me. How many people ever say something like that to themselves? You can't say that. Like, you cannot say that. I want everybody for a moment to commit to themselves right now. I want you to hug yourself. I want you to take a deep breath and say, I'm not going to talk down to you anymore. I'm not going to say mean things to you anymore, because you can't. If your kid was sitting right in front of you and your kid said, oh, I'm so stupid, what would you say to your child? Would you correct your child? You say, no, you're not. You're awesome. And if you make mistakes and things happen, you're a human and it's okay. I want everybody to commit to themselves. Do not talk to yourself like that anymore. It's important, okay? Because your language, your physiology, and what you focus on is going to determine your state. Okay, so we have to shift our physiology, we have to shift our breath, we have to shift our posture, we have to shift our language, and you can also shift your focus. So you can change the questions that you're asking to yourself, like, oh, what's possible here? What did I learn from this? You can take anything that's happening and shift it to a perspective that is going to be more empowering. And the best way to do it, because sometimes it's hard to think about ourselves, is think about what you would do for your kid. Think literally about how you would respond to your child. If your child messed something up or made a mistake, you'd say, but what did you learn, honey? Or how did you become greater because that experience happened? You have to shift the focus, shift the physiology, and shift your language. Okay. And I know it can be hard, but this whole human experience is all about unlearning and reconnecting to who you really truly want to be. And it's okay. We're all in a state of unlearning. You guys, we've all learned things that were not for our highest good. And that's okay. We're all in this together. That's the point of coming on a call like this, or having friends, or having people that you trust, or having mentors. Working with people is, you trust these people and you hold their hand. Just going to do this, all in the state of unlearning and learning. Okay. Now, the most important thing to understand is that your state is your responsibility. Like, there's your state, and your energy is nobody else's responsibility but your own, which is kind of hard because it's really easy to blame other things of why our state gets messed up. Like, oh, well, this person said this to me, or this experience happened. And look, I will tell you right now, I sat in victimhood for most of my life until I was 25 years old. That's why I was an alcoholic, because it was really easy. And a lot of people could look at me and say, hey, of course you were hurt because of what you experienced when you were a child. But the reality is, me blaming my experiences and me saying, well, this is why I feel the way that I still feel, even though those experiences were 10 years before that, 12 years before that, it didn't help me. It wasn't helping to elevate me. It kept me in a state where I was a victim. and I wasn't able to be at my fullest potential. And that is the goal while we're here on this planet, is to hit our fullest potential. So it's our responsibility. Okay. So when it comes to your state, you can also tap into movement. This is super important. A lot of people do shaking, they'll do jumping, they'll do dancing. Dancing is really interesting. I challenge people to do this. Put on some music and go somewhere where no one can see you because then you can be yourself and dance. Move your body, because emotion is will get stuck in your body if you don't process it. So you have to move. Yeah, if you know how to twerk, awesome. I don't, but I will go into a room and I will turn some music on and I'll close my eyes and I'll just move the way that my body wants to move. And it's very healing and it helps to process the emotions and move them through. Breath work is really important. Again, and sitting and answering questions for yourself, journaling and being like, you know what can I learn from this? How can I be a greater person from this? How can I go out and help other people because experience this? So asking these types of questions. Okay, so you have to have a toolbox, you guys. There has to be a box that you go to when you notice yourself in funky states, that you're like, wait a minute, I'm in a funky state right now. And you got to go into your toolbox and you'd be like, how can I adjust my physiology? How can I adjust my focus? Maybe I should go dance, and go get yourself into a greater state as soon as possible. Okay. Also, unaligned activities and opportunities. This is interesting because if you say yes to the wrong things, then it can totally affect your energy, your time, your purpose. The law of opportunity costs states that saying yes to one thing inherently means saying no to something else. Okay, so it's important that you get really clear on what your goals and your visions are. And everybody on this call, well, actually, I can't see everybody right now, but I know a lot of people on this call. I see Michelle, I Abby, I see Holly. I've had extensive conversations with you ladies, and I know you guys really well, and I know how busy you are. So for you, I know the goals that you have. I know the connection you have with your families. I know what you guys are doing. And for people who have a lot on their plate, I'm sure how many people have a lot on their plate right now. I saw Ashley Myers in the comment earlier. Actually, I know how busy she is. You guys, it's very important that we're super intentional with our time. And it's easy to become not intentional with our time. I remember there was a time in my life where I would just say yes to things because I felt bad. I was like, oh, I should, okay, yeah, sure. And now I've become super intentional. Like David and I were in Vegas for a speaking event in his birthday a couple months ago in April. And I remember these people were there and they were awesome. And they're one of our friends was there, and then one of her friends was there. And they wanted to go out and they wanted to go like out on the town and da 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 da. And then it was like, I was like, oh, I'll go out for a little bit. And then it was getting like a little bit later and they wanted to keep going out. And I just straight up told them, I was like, look, I'm loving spending time with you guys. You guys are super awesome, but I have to honor my energy, and I can't stay out later than this. Like I gotta go. Like I love the vibes. Everything's cool, but like I know me and I know my energy, and saying yes. So like for me, I was projecting what was gonna happen into the future. So if I had stayed out late that night, that was gonna affect my whole next day because I have to get a certain amount of sleep. I don't function without, nobody does. Nobody functions without the proper amount of sleep. So if I don't get the right amount of sleep, I'm going to sleep in later. If I sleep in later, that's going to affect my meditation and my yoga the next morning. If that affects my meditation and my yoga, it's going to affect my workout. If it affects my workout, then I'm going to be pissed because I have goals and I have a flow, and that's not cool. So I was like doing all this in my head. So sometimes you have to do that. You have to be like, okay, if I say yes to this thing, what is that going to affect as the butterfly effect happens, right? As life continues. And so you have to look at it like that. And there's a guy, I can't remember his name, but he had talked about it's either a hell yes or it's a no. So if it's either like 100% absolutely yes, and then it's a no. So just knowing who you are and how you function and what your goals are and where you need to be allocating your time will determine what you need to say yes and what you need to say no to. Because the reality is we don't have a lot of time in the day. Like it goes by so fast. We don't have enough time in life. Like I'm legitimately like shocked that I just celebrated my 35th birthday, and I'm like, man, I remember when I was turning 18. It felt like it was yesterday. I cannot believe that time is going by this fast, and it keeps going by faster. That's the crazy part. Okay. So if you can do, David and I used to be really good at this. We don't really do this anymore. I do it myself, but we don't do it together. But we used to do it together. But we would do an audit on Sundays, and we would talk about what we did that week that wasn't aligned, how we could show up better for each other, what we would have done differently. We would look at the schedule for the week. I mean, we still have a schedule together. We have a Google Calendar so we can see each other's schedules, but I mean, we're really communicative throughout the week, so maybe that's why we don't do it anymore. But I'll do it myself, and I'll kind of do a little audit of what that week looked like. So I highly recommend getting a journal or something that you can write in, that you can put all your thoughts in, all your questions in, all of your empowering affirmations, all of your auditing. I mean, a book that you can go to, that you can, this is your baby. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe it's digital. Maybe it's something that you have on your phone that you can put all that stuff in. But I can't tell you, David and I together probably have like 50 journals over the years of just writing stuff in. And it's good to have that stuff on paper. Okay. All right, back to sleep, since I was just talking about that. This is super distracting. If you do not get good quality sleep, it will lower your cognitive function by at least 30% the next day. So this is vital. If you guys want to be living a life of optimization, we have to prioritize sleep. And to be honest, I'll prioritize sleep over pretty much anything. So if I don't get enough sleep, that's why that night was so important to me, because if I didn't get enough sleep that night, then I wasn't going to do my yoga and my workout the next day, or one of them would have gotten sacrificed depending on how much sleep I missed. Because if I don't sleep, then my mood is affected. I will fall asleep like talking to you. Like I've always joked, but like I think I'm kind of serious. Like I think I'm partially narcoleptic. Like I will fall asleep standing up if I'm tired enough. So, and it doesn't take a lot for me to get to that state. So I sleep has to happen for me. So you guys, and for everybody. So it's really, 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 really important that this is where your healing happens. This is where your memory consolidation happens. This is where your body just starts to it replenishes its cells. I mean, it does everything when you're sleeping. So there's certain things that you not only need to be focused on as far as like the hours of sleep, but also what you're doing before you go to sleep. I can't tell you how many people here are like, oh, it's really hard for me to sleep, but they're staring at their phone while they're laying in bed. Don't do that. Like David and I've never brought my phone into my bed. Like my phone doesn't even enter that place. Like I don't, no, 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 no. Don't do that. And if you are going to be around an electronic and be looking at something with a blue light, you have to get blue light blockers. At least, like, it's the least that you can do is put blue light blockers on your eyeballs. Like this is so critical and important, because if you have blue light entering your eyeballs before bedtime, the last hour to 2 hours, it's going to block melatonin production. Melatonin production is what makes you tired. It's what makes you have a good quality sleep. You don't want to block that. So you're like, oh, I'm not tired, but I've been staring at the TV and my phone. That's why. Okay. So I love you guys. So I know I'm being really direct right now, but it's because I care about you, and it's important, super important. So don't try not to use your phone an hour to 2 hours before bed. And this is like complete optimization, right? Like, here's what happens at my house around like 8 o'clock. I turn all the lights off in my house. David and I have we have a couple lights, but they're low. They're the amber lighting. Don't have any white lights on in your house, but if you have some like low, like amber lighting, dim ones, that's cool. We also have they're little clips that clip onto a book, and then it has a light on it, but they're orange lights. So you have to be really careful, because I've shopped around on Amazon and I've gotten ones with white lights, and no. So you got to get the orange one. So we have those clipped in our bathroom and next to our bed and in our kitchen and by our front door. So we clip those on and walk through the house with these little lights. And then we put our blue light blockers on. And then also on your phone, if you have an iPhone, you can set it up, and I wish I was with everybody right now because I would just set up all your guys' phones. But you can set it up to where you click it 3 times on the big button on the side and your screen will turn red. So that goes on for me also at 8 o'clock. So if you guys can Google it actually. I was going to say we could do like a Zoom and we can all do it together. But really, you guys could Google it and just Google like click 3 times, and you just have to go into your phone. You have to go into general. You have to go into the to the shortcuts, turn on your color filter, go back up to the display in general, add on the color filter, and then it's really simple. Just Google it, you guys can find it. But do that on your phones. That way your phone's light, actually I'll show you what it looks like. So here's my, oh no, you can't see it. No. Okay. Okay, well, you can't see it because I'm in the way. Oh, that's my husband. Okay, well, you can't see it. But anyways, when you click it, it turns, oh, so you can kind of see it right there. See how my phone's red? Beep. That's what you want it to look like. Okay, and then when I click it, it's white. One, two, three. It's red. Yay. Okay, so this is really helpful for when you go to sleep at night. Okay, so having a good ritual for bedtime. Okay, can you guys hear me? Am I back? Okay, I pressed a button. Ha, sorry. Okay, so having like good rituals before you go to bed, where you're turning off your lights and you're switching your blue light off your phone, and maybe you're journaling, maybe you're turning on some cool music, maybe you're stretching, okay? Maybe you're vibing with your spouse or your kid and you're just connecting on the couch looking at each other in the eyes and you're like, hey, how was your day? And you're connecting before bedtime. I can't tell you how game changing it is to sit on the couch with your spouse before bed and be like, you know what? It's been a long day. Why don't we just talk for 5 or 10 minutes? Hey, how are you? And hold hands and connect and regulate with each other. That's one of David and I's favorite things is to just sit on the couch and regulate before bed. Okay, so these are all things that you can do before bed. Do some breath work. All right. So the next thing that is important to optimize is your relationships. I know everybody here has heard that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, but I mean it's true. It's important. And really taking a look at the people that are around you, take a look at the people who how they talk to you, how they breathe life into you, and it doesn't make these people like bad or wrong, but it's just an evaluation of like, you know what? I'm trying to up level myself, and it's important that the people that are around me are vibrating at the frequency and the energy that I'm at or I'm trying to get to, that so that we're a unit that can evolve and grow together. So it is very important to just audit who you're spending time with, because the people that are around you can dysregulate your energy. They can drain you, because our nervous systems are always regulating around the people that we're around. That's our nervous system's job, is to identify the environment that we're in and then respond to the current environment. So if you're in an environment that is emotionally draining or is not very positive, not very kind, not very uplifting, not very motivating, then it's going to be harder for you to exceed or excel past that energetic frequency. Okay. So um, because then you're looking at, cortisol being spiked depending on the relationship that you're in. Your energy feels drained. Inflammation can even spike from the people that you spend time with. It can cause fatigue. So kind of understanding the people that you're around and what type of feelings you feel when you're around them. Do you feel guilt? Do you feel like you're walking on eggshells? Are there cycles of conflict? Do you feel like there's some like obligation type of feeling? So you need to kind of audit these relationships and be like, okay, well, who am I around that energizes me? Who am I around that drains me? Who am I around that I feel safe to fully be me? And then be teaching yourself or learning about emotional boundaries, how to communicate with other people, how to create space from people, not feeling guilty. So it's just really important that you understand that by practicing this and being very discerning about where you direct your energy and who's has access to your energy, that you're not being selfish, you're not being mean, you're protecting you and you're protecting your energy, especially right now where I mean, if you're here, you're in a stage of growth because you're trying to grow a business, you're trying to up level yourself, you're trying to reach a new. So it's important that you're very discerning right now, because it's an area that you want to optimize 100%. Okay. And then let's talk about the physical body. This one is so much fun because we're in a wellness company, and that is what we're talking about all the time. But I really want you guys to not pressure yourself. Again, I want you guys to just be curious. I switched. I finally, when I first came into the health and fitness space, and for anybody that doesn't know me on here, long story short, went through a lot of trauma as a kid until I was about 12 years old. A lot of violence, sexual abuse, physical abuse, blah, all that, right? That turned into me as a very angry teenager and started drinking and doing hard drugs at the age of 13. From 13 to 25, I abused substances pretty much every day during that whole time. And so at the age of 25, I was super sick. I kept getting arrested and in trouble, and I decided to change my life. Well, I got really lucky that there was a guy that I liked years before that he had gotten sober, and he came and started. I saw him online. He was working out at the gym, so I hit him up, and I was like, "Hey, what's up? I see that you're sober now. I'm just getting sober. What can I do?" And he was like, "Come to the gym with me." So I started working out, and what's interesting about that is, for the first, I don't know, for the first probably 7 or 8 years, maybe a lot of it was based on my physical and like controlling my experience, but a lot of it was based on the physical. Now, I mean, yeah, I like to look a certain way, because eventually your standards kind of change. You're like, okay, well, I want to look this way, but now I'm just genuinely curious about what I'm capable of. And so it's like shifting that, and there's no pressure for me to perform or look a certain way. It's more of like, how can I honor my human body and this human experience the most possible, because I'm here and I'm not going to be here forever, and I don't know when my last day is. So I don't want to look back and have taken for granted this life experience, because it's really easy to do that, you guys. It's so easy to take for granted the human experience, because death is not something that most people are keeping in front of them every day. And I actually think it's really important to be thinking about death kind of frequently, because it'll always balance you, because the reality is death comes for all of us. And this in order to really check you and be like, oh, I should live my every day as if it's my last, or how big of a deal is this thing that I'm making in my head, or do I really want to carry this stress right now, or do I really want to show up as my best and be the healthiest I can be and be the happiest I can be? I mean, when you're looking at, I don't know when death's coming for me. It could be tomorrow, it could be the next day. I don't know. It really kind of changes how you look at things and how you choose to operate. So I actually believe that we should be looking at death every day and being grateful. Like, David and I wake up every day, and we start with gratitude. First, we hug each other and we hold each other and we talk about how grateful we are for each other. And then I think about how grateful I am for my life. And then it balances me, it sets me. And then we come and we do our meditation and we connect with God, and it refocuses us on being able to approach our day with the most energy possible, because we're so grateful to be alive. And so I just want you guys, when it comes to your physical body and it comes to taking care of yourself, it shouldn't feel like a burden. It should feel like, wow, I woke up today and I might not be in the best state that I am in right now, but it doesn't matter. I can change. You guys, how many people here have seen a dramatic health transformation before, where you see someone, I mean, anybody know of David Goggins? He was 300 pounds, super fluffy, was not crushing it. He was spraying for cockroaches, working at an exterminator company, and he ended up going into I can't remember which one it is. I've read both of his books, but he's amazing. He went into the military. He did buds a couple of times. He's hit the world record for pull-ups. He's ran a bunch of 100-mile marathons. He ran one mile marathon where he broke his foot and he still finished it. I mean, he's done some crazy stuff. But coming from where he was sitting on a couch, getting fast food when he would get off work, go get fast food, go home, sitting on his couch and be like, what was me, to this incredible man who broke the pull-up record. It's like 4,000 pull-ups in a day. Like, what? Like, that's insane. That's what you're capable of. That is what you are capable of. Now, I'm not saying you got to go break the pull-up record, but I'm saying that level of shift from this way of living to this way of living, that's what God gave you. Everybody. He gave it to everybody. Okay. There's this space within, this kingdom within, that there's unlimited potential that he has given to all of us. And it's all accessible. And the only thing that's stopping you from accessing that is your mind. That's the only thing. The mind and the kingdom are not the same thing. So you have to get really good. I teach this all the time, but it's because it's the only thing that's affecting the quality of your life is your mind. This mind, this little computer that you have, it gets programmed. It has its certain ways of functioning to keep you safe and to keep you in your comfort zone. And man, that's your mind, okay? But your unlimited potential is in the kingdom, and it's in your consciousness and your conscious awareness. And there's a separation. There has to be a separation between the two. So when you're navigating your life and you want to become a healthier human being, I promise you, I never thought that I was going to be a fitness person. I remember I would look at everybody else and be like, wow, that's so cool. That person's into fitness. Like, I wish I could be into fitness. And I didn't even think that it was possible for me to be into fitness. And so you have to have here's what I did. Okay. Like I told you, at first it was about look. So I remember found a couple of girls that I liked the way that they look, and I was like, I want to look like them. And I became so interested in what their life looked like to look the way that they did. So I would go onto their Instagram and I would scroll back, like years back, to where I could see the transformation of their posts, of what they looked like throughout when they were posting. And I would get a general idea. Sonata, super smoking hot, but her too. If you go back far enough, or she'll have some transformation pictures she'll post, that you can see the journey of what she went through. And the average time was like 3 or 4 years that I could see, like, whoa, this is where they started, this is where they're at. So I knew going into it, I got about 3 or 4 years ahead of me of some serious, like, op optimization in my food, in my sleep, in my well, food, sleep, and movement. Those were the most important things that I focused on. I got 3 or 4 years ahead of me. So it wasn't like this whole, every day when I switched my schedule, all of a sudden I was waking up at 6 a.m. to go to the gym, where before, I was barely getting up 30 minutes before I had to get out of work, and I was so hungover and still drunk, and I'd wake up and smoke a cigarette, and then I would crawl back up my stairs to get to my room because I was so hungover. Anyone's ever smoked a cigarette when they're hungover? It feels terrible. And then I would go get dressed and I would go into work, and my boss, the one that loved me, that's a whole other story. She was like, Brooke, you smell like alcohol. And I was like, well, I was drinking last night, but anyways, so that transformation versus waking up at 6 in the morning and hitting the gym. And sometimes I started hitting the gym at twice. I would go when I got off work. I became so obsessed and excited about the transformation that I just kept going. And so my point about this, you guys, is I want you to become clear on what you want to look like and what you want to feel like, okay? And you have to visualize it. You have to see it. You have to look at it and be like, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. And I remember people would laugh at me. My friends would be like, Brooke, come on, you're not going to do that. And I was like, oh no, like I am for sure. I've already decided. It has to be a decision. I am doing this, okay? And it's got to be a commitment. It's got to be a long-term commitment, because it's not something, yeah, you'll start seeing some changes after 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, but like, you will not fully transform. My transformation physically took was a little shorter, but my mental and emotional transformation, I'm at my 10-year mark. I just celebrated my 10 years sober a few days ago. This 10-year transformation of me, you guys, it's been 10 years, but I've had friends that I've had during this whole time that knew me in high school that are like, Brooke, you're almost unrecognizable. Like, you're a different person. And they will say that. And I say that to you because I just want you to know that it's possible. I want you to know that 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, you can be a completely different human. And that is the point of being alive on this planet, is for you to evolve. That is the only reason for us to evolve, because our evolution and our growth is the gift that we give to the world around us. That's the gift that you give to your children. That's the gift that you give to your spouse. That's the gift that you give to every single person that you interact with. That's the gift that you give to whoever it is that comes into your presence, okay? The gift we give to the world is our growth and our evolution. And it's just important that you guys know that. It's not just, oh, this little experience that I'm having. This is, no, I'm doing this for my children and my family and my friends and the whole world around me, okay? So get clear on what you want to feel like, what you want to look like, and then you just backtrack it. You're like, okay, if I want to be healthier, okay, I got to start moving my body. When am I going to start moving my body? What time of the day? Well, what time of the day is open? Okay, let me schedule it at this time and then go schedule it. I would do my schedule on Sunday and I would schedule out my whole week on what I was going to work out at the gym on Sunday. And I had it on a little whiteboard with my little marker. Now I use Google Calendar, but use something that you're scheduling. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym next week and then wait for a day that you feel like it because you're not going to feel like it. So don't wait to feel like it. Schedule it in. It has to be scheduled and it has to be a choice. Okay. And if you have the ability to have an accountability partner, that's somebody that's like, you can call and you can be like, I don't want to go to the gym right now. And they say, get your ass to the gym, then get an accountability partner. Okay. Do something, stretch yourself, push yourself. Throw away all the poison in your house. I'm serious. Throw that shit away. Throw all of it away. You should not have poison in your house. Look, there's a difference between food. God gave us food to nourish ourselves and to fuel ourselves. And there's some rich ass people sitting somewhere that create poison. They put all these chemicals together. Like, how delicious can we make these chemicals taste so people get addicted so we make money? Like, that's happening and we're consuming it. So don't put that crap in your body. That is not, it's poison. It's not food. Okay. I know it tastes good. I know that. I'm aware of that. But you have to be stronger than that. Okay. So throw all that crap away. Replenish your house with nourishing foods, nourishing meals. Start moving your body. Get some sunshine. Get to sleep earlier. Sit in silence and meditation. This is why this challenge exists, you guys, because the 10-day detox and reset challenge, the 5 things that we're doing is we're moving our body, we're eating real foods, we're sitting in silence and meditation, we're doing 10 minutes of personal development, and then we're taking supplements to recalibrate our system. But we're doing these things because these are like the building blocks to your growth. Like these things have to happen every single day. And I want you guys to reach your fullest potential. That's why we're talking about optimization. Okay. So this was part 2 of optimization. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. You guys are wonderful human beings. And yeah, if you guys ever have any questions, just let us know. And yeah, there's an ebook too. You guys are into the wellness challenge. There's a little wellness guide that's got some cool stuff in there as well. But yeah, I love you guys. You're awesome. I appreciate you guys super, 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 super much. And I'll see you guys on our next Zoom. And I'll see you guys actually tomorrow, Saturday.